Welcome to Game Set Matchup, the podcast where we talk everything partnerships, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hello everyone, I'm Carl Busby, your host of Game Set Matchup, the #1 partnerships podcast, and we are back with another episode. So today I caught up with Katie Keith, who is the Senior Partnerships Manager at Currencies Direct. So Katie moved to London from Australia in 2016 and had a huge career in the banking and payment sector. She's now currently working for Currencies Direct, who offer businesses a way of making international payments, currency transfers, and from a partnerships perspective, they are offering embedded payment solutions to businesses. As usual, we discuss what a Gold Star partnership looks like for Currencies Direct, the sectors they are currently focusing on in building those partnerships. We also discuss what some of the core components are for building a long-term partnership with a new business, and also some tips and advice for anyone out there looking to get into the partnership space. So as always, remember you can find more about Findr and how we are helping businesses secure discovery calls with vetted decision makers by hitting the links in the description. Enjoy this week's episode. Okay, hello everyone, welcome to Game Set Matchup. So this is a podcast where we discuss all things partnerships. You might be new to the partnerships world, looking for a bit of advice how to get started, or you might be an experienced pro just looking for a bit of inspiration or direction. Whichever one, we thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Carl Busby, and please welcome our guest today. We have Katie Keith, who is the Senior Enterprise Partnerships Manager from Currencies Direct. Hello and welcome, Katie.
Hi, Carl. Great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. So we would like to just start off as we usually do. If you wouldn't mind just telling our listeners a little bit of an introduction, into yourself. So maybe a bit about your sort of your background, what your current role is in Currencies Direct, how that works, and then maybe just a bit about what Currencies Direct actually do.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. And hi, welcome and chime in for those chiming in today. So my background is nearly 20 years in banking, mostly for Australian banks, and sort of the last 6 years has been in international payments. So around 25 years working in financial services across retail banking, corporate banking, and now foreign exchange and international payments. I think 2016, I relocated from Sydney to London, and that's when I sort of entered the partnerships domain, and I was managing the strategic partnerships there at CommBank. And then I sort of took a sideways step in my career across into international payments. And that really sort of sung to my passion around working with international business. And so my journey has very much been in finance and more recently in the partnership space.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. And just to touch a little bit more, I know you obviously said it's focused on it's like international payments. So is there a lot of times, companies they might have other arms or things that they're sort of involved in? So is there any? Is it just purely that currency focusing on that, or is there sort of any other things that they sort of manage or look after?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give you a bit of flavour around Currencies Direct, it really was one of the first foreign exchange companies in Europe. And so it's been operating for a very long time. We provide foreign exchange and payment services for individuals and businesses right around the globe. Right. And in particular, for the enterprise partnership team, we look and focus on embedded payment solutions. So we come in to enhance an already existing service proposition that's out in the market. So for example, if you're an accounts payable firm and you're solving the pain points for clients who are managing bulk invoice and processing, they really rely on partnerships to drive their service channels. So payment features are really critical to adding an extra string to their bow. It's also commercially viable as well. If you think about the other strand in our business, property, we do over 10 billion in foreign exchange transactions every year, and a lot of those are revolving around property and business transactions.
Wow. Yeah, okay, it's not a small number there at all. So because there's a lot going on in the field. That sort of moves us on quite nicely to, obviously we like to sort of talk around a bit more, get into a bit more detail around the sort of partnership side. So, with Currencies Direct, and kind of with the experience you've had so far, what would you say, a Gold Star partnership looks like for Currencies Direct and another, partner or business that you may be looking to sort of bring on board? Anything that you kind of, specifically, look out for when, talking to businesses, just we can get a flavour of what does that look like?
Yeah, good shout, Carl. I think the sort of the gold nuggets out there are at the moment for our enterprise partnership division is around accounts payable, receivable, mass pay solutions like payroll companies. Employers of record are a great one because they're processing people's wages right around the world, but they're doing massive amounts of payments. So an embedded payment solution can really solve the pain points there. And also accounts payable and receivable are our sort of number one at the moment for embedded payment features. Also, if you go on the other side around property, so SaaS-based platforms that are servicing the property or professional services space, an embedded payment solution in there for property transactions, investments. So for example, law firms are really great because they have full suite of services that they offer. They might have M&A, property, investments, inheritance, you name it. There's funds moving around within these frameworks.
Yeah.
And to have a one-stop payment solution that is embedded in the process, it just enhances the client journey.
Yeah.
It's cost effective and it's commercially viable for them.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And just sort of kind of sticking on that, I mean, talking around, what makes a really good partnership, when you are approaching these businesses and stuff, I mean, all companies want to find new business. That's what they're always obviously trying to do. But is there any sort of, particular, sort of traits, you may look for, in a business or doing, or for a partnership? I mean, as I said, we're all looking to grow and, get that business, but, sometimes, may not be the right time or be the right, thing for, to go into partnership, with a company. So, and also, when you're sort of looking for those sort of traits, I mean, similarly as well, is there anything that you might notice where you go, oh, this is maybe not the right time to partner with a particular business? Things that stand out that maybe further down the line could there could be issues, or there could be sort of problems. So yeah, just interested to get your take on what sort of type of things do you sort of look for?
Yeah, I think that there's a few traits that I look for. And first of all, I think it's important to have a very strong strategy. Who are you looking to work with? Why?
Yeah.
What is the common thread, purpose around the partnership? Does the brand align? Is there a brand alignment there?
Yeah.
Also, is it commercially viable? So you do need to do some financial modeling. It may not be correct at the early instance, but after you start going through your exploration with the potential partner, you should be looking for A, do you align? B, is it commercially viable? And the third one, which can be often frustrating because you've ticked the first two boxes, is do they have someone in their business that can project manage the partnership with you?
Yeah.
And I think, we're very well geared up to project manage it from A, B to C to D. However, sometimes the frustration is they might not have a partnership division. They may not have the right team set up to help deliver on that. And sometimes that's where the wheels fall off a little bit, because you can see that there's a really great opportunity there. But to get it through to the next phase, it can be sometimes a bit of a challenge or a roadblock if you don't have people in the business that can manage that.
Yeah.
Now, the types of businesses we're looking to work with, they're quite well geared up because they already have existing partnership streams. That's how they operate. So they're probably the three big things that I look for in my partners.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That totally makes a lot of sense. I'm just intrigued, 'cause I do like to, just ask guests and stuff. When you've had a situation like that where, as you just said, tick the first two boxes, but then they don't have these personal side. It's quite a common thing that I hear. You're talking about all the things are there, but then you don't have this person on the other side to help really drive things through. Do in experience where this has potentially happened, obviously don't have to name no names or anything like that, but what's kind of been the solution there? Like, do you just sort of continue on and just sort of push through and hope that things are going to work, or is it a case of what, we need to pull this back right now and maybe pause and pick it up sort of at a future time? Just interested to know what's the sort of strategy.
Yeah, it really depends. Like, we're very well geared up to drive things. So we'll take ownership. We pull in all of our key stakeholders internally. We've got sales, marketing, the tech team, product team. And so we're all banding around our partner to really drive the partnership through the project management timeline. And I think that we can do that. We can support them on that, and we can educate them on the resources that we need to extract to make that happen. And so it can be done. I
Yeah.
think it's just a lot more challenging because you are throwing a lot more resource at it. And I think, you know, it really depends. I don't think we've ever pulled back.
Right.
I think we have seen the project through, and I think it's just about sort of pivoting and
Yeah.
understanding what capabilities does the partner have in place, where do we need to bridge the gap,
Yeah.
you know, what stakeholders do we need to pull in here, and you know, a couple of integration projects we're working on currently. You know, we're really hands-on, and we're actually become a part of the team effectively, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think it's just it sounds like it's just a good thing you've got quite a lot of you know, the resources there to like you said, work and help in those situations. So which is really good for some maybe other businesses, smaller companies that might just end up falling away, you know, and not being able to get through. So also just interested, you know, at Findr, you know, the whole you know, point of Findr is around helping you know, businesses get that sort of first discovery call with another business, you know, potentially have a conversation around, you know, a partnership, or you know, how they can potentially work together. You know, for Currencies Direct, and you know, for the team, sort of how are you sort of going about looking you know, for new, you know, sort of new business? You know, speaking to some companies, you know, sometimes they have, you know, sort of some quite big sort of companies that they're sort of working with, and you know, they kind of get sort of referrals from that, but like, you know, everything that eventually may potentially sort of dry up, or you know, it's like, you know, you do need to then go out and sort of, you know, try and look for sort of new business. So we're always just interested to know how, you know, how is that being sort of done at Currencies Direct? How are you sort of, you know, getting out there looking for like, you know, new, you know, partners to work with?
What I love about our team is we all have our own unique approach to how we open the door. And there's some really lovely strengths across our division that we can lean on. I think the first thing is actually knowing what your target market is, being very specific about the brands that you want to work with.
Yeah.
A couple of things I do is I leverage my network. Number one, I've built a very strong, robust global network, and that's by being a part of industry-specific bodies,
Yeah.
attending events, building meaningful relationships and being authentic about that.
Yeah.
I also look, if I'm targeting a specific organization, I have a look who's connected to them on LinkedIn that I know really well.
Yeah.
You know, how can I sort of leverage my network in a meaningful way? And I feel I've built some lovely relationships out there. So my network is willing to help me because I give a lot to my network as well. So I think opening the door can be quite challenging, but you just need to know exactly who you're looking to target, use the resources that you have at your disposal, and it won't happen straight away to get to the right person, but it is about sort of that initial exploration, finding a little bit more about the company, get a demo of their service and solution, understand what makes them tick, and then see as you work through the steps, as you get to the right person. If there's an appetite on the other side, they'll open the door very quickly for you. But sometimes we need to educate them on what they need.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I like that. I think, you know, networking events and speaking to people in person, sort of having those sort of warm relationships makes a huge, you know, huge difference. And as you sort of pointed out, you don't always get to speak to the correct person first, but if you build those relationships up, then they're going to be more likely to want to, you know, help you find the right people to talk to. So, yeah, like I said, I think that's very, very key. What, just moving on. So we just, again, talking about, you know, you've got a very huge sort of varied career, working in, you said, in the sort of financial service banking industries. If you can sort of just remember what, you know, going back to when you first sort of just started to, you know, venture on this journey, you know, in your career, you know, we do like to just ask guests, like, you know, is there, you know, I'm sure there's lots of things that you've, you know, picked up that you've sort of learned, but just be interesting to know, and like, you know, one or two sort of, you know, tips or things that you know, you could go back and tell your younger self, you know, before starting out on this journey. Yeah, you know, any sort of like that tips could be, you know, be in the sort of specifically around sort of partnerships, or, you know, like I said, just in the sort of financial sort of banking world in general.
Yeah, gosh, if I think back to, I suppose when I relocated from Sydney to the UK, one of the things that I didn't have was a really strong community around me. And so I think what has helped me to be more successful is building that community and that support network, so I can leverage that. So if if you're not out building community around you, I think that's a key to do that. Get out of the comfort zone. You know, just make sure that you're building that around yourself. And I think the other thing is just do one or two things brilliantly and really master that, as opposed to trying to do too much.
I like that.
And if you can master the art of doing one or two things, then go and master the art of doing another two things, and don't sink the boat, so to speak, with too many opportunities. And look, this is an ongoing piece of development for me. You know, you can get really caught up in wanting to do a whole range of things. But if you just narrow it down, be focused, know what you're looking for, know who you want to be working with, I think that is the key. And just checking back in with yourself that you're on track to do that. I think they're probably the main things for me. And one other thing really is, you know, we all want to chase the shining star, right? The big golden nugget, the big partnership, and that's great. But what you do need to do is diversify your pipeline, because there's so many other lovely commercially viable opportunities that you could be flowing through at pace whilst you're working on in parallel on those golden nuggets. So diversifying your pipeline, I think, is key as well, because if you think however long it takes you to reach the end point, where you've fully integrated your partnership and your income generating, what else can you be doing in between to keep bridging that gap? So I think diversifying your portfolio is a big one for me.
No, that's amazing. I think you know, we haven't really sort of touched on it too much, but like you said, you know, relocating, you know, from another country is that's a big deal. So, you know, I think it's like you said, it probably makes sense that if you're moving to a country, that one of those things is sort of building that, can we bring that network around you sort of as soon as possible. So, you know, anybody listening who's thinking about moving you know, to another country, I think that's some good advice there to do once you're there. And then just finally moving on, so you know, we like to sort of ask guests just, you know, what they sort of think the future holds, you know, in this space of, you know, partnerships. You know, technologies and stuff have massively changed over the sort of last sort of 5 to 6 years. I think, you know, we're sort of well out of the COVID space now, but, you know, that was, you know, a huge thing that changed the way people sort of work together. I mean, how we all work. And you know, we've got lots of new tools and things out there. We all know that AI is one of the big technologies that everyone is always, you know, sort of talking about, and how that's going to you know, influence businesses. But just be interested to get your take maybe on, like, you know, what you sort of think, you know, the next sort of 3 to 5 years, if, you know, or is anything going to, you know, you think there anything out there that's going to change the way, you know, we do sort of, like, you know, business and partnerships? Just be interested to get your sort of ideas on it.
Look, I think partnerships are going to be highly critical for business. You know, it already is for a majority of businesses, but I think more and more businesses are leaning toward the partnership model. And I think we also need to keep ahead of the great game in terms of what solutions and tools are out there driving partnership channels. Now, with ourselves, we provide technology integrated partnership solutions. So we are already working in that space. And I think it's about work smarter, not harder. What are you doing in your business right now that you're an expert in, but what's missing from the pie? And how do you bring those integrated partnerships together to offer a one-stop solution for your end user? And so I think that as we evolve in the partnership space, that will be highly critical. But let's not forget that underlying all of this is the relationship and the engagement model that we uphold. So I believe that there is going to be a real focus on how we use technology to enhance the way we work together. But in parallel to that, there will also be that element of traditional relationships that are forming behind that. And so we need to get creative. We need to be forward thinking and to see what's coming around the corner. And how can we enhance our service proposition that we already have, that we do so well through our strategic partnerships?
No, I think that's been a common thing speaking to guests, is around that, you know, with all the tools and everything, you know, that we ultimately, you know, inevitably are going to start to use, especially in the partnership game. You know, you can't lose the relationship, the one-on-one, you know, relationship. They're so important and key to, you know, as we discussed before, driving, you know, things forward. So I think that's the one thing that makes me sort of feel good, is realize that, you know, human relationship, we're still going to need them no matter what technology we've got. You know, having that face to face and having those conversations is, you know, still so, you know, really, really powerful. So we've, you know, come to the end. Like I said, we could talk about probably many other things, but like I said, we want to keep it short to time. So really appreciate you coming on and giving us sort of experience and advice on things. And like I said, just to say, obviously all the best. Good luck with what you're doing at Currencies Direct.
Thank you so much, Carl. It's been great.
Okay.
Thanks for joining this week's Game Set Matchup. Tune in to hear more about the need to knows and the do's and don'ts when it comes to creating successful business partnerships.